A very warm good morning to all my dear students. I hope you all are doing well and you have started preparing for your summative examination. So students, now that we have completed our final exam syllabus, therefore we must start with the revision of the topics, right? So first topic which we are going to revise today is chapter 14, The Sunken Treasure from your literature book, The English Spring. Okay students? So students, talking about this chapter, the whole chapter has been written in three parts. I hope you remember that chapter has been written in three parts and those three parts contain different information about the chapter. As we move on in the chapter, we will find out how the main character of the story proceeds further and gains a beautiful name for himself later, right? So the chapter is all about an important person, or the main character of the story is Sir William Phipps. Remember, the main character of the story is Sir William Phipps. Sir William Phipps, who belonged to USA initially, during his boyhood spent his maximum amount of time during his childhood tending sheep. Although when he used to do that work, he was not enthusiastic enough, he was not happy enough to be doing that work, but because he had no other thing to do, therefore he had to spend his time in tending sheep only. Coming from a poor background, he did not get the chance to get educated, get literate. Therefore, till the time he grew up, he did not know how to read and write. Always as a child, he wanted to do something better in his life. He wanted to improve the condition of his life. Therefore, when he grew up a bit, he decided to apprentice himself to a ship carpenter and spent around 4 years with him. After he grew up to be 22 years old, he decided to do something else. In fact, by the time he turned 22 years of age, he was a successful businessman and also he got married. He was very happy and had a beautiful life, but his happiness was short-lived because after a while that business flopped, everything flopped and he failed. Now, like any other person, he did not get upset. He did not started to feel discouraged. Instead, he told himself, he promised himself that he would work harder and gain all the riches back. So he started working towards it. In the meanwhile, he kept on working in the water. He kept on following the sea for a living. Till now he was still working really hard to get that riches back, but unfortunately he was unable to get anything till now. It was already 11 years long that he had been trying, but unfortunately he couldn't get anything. Now one day while he was working in the sea only, he got to know about a treasure. A Spanish ship that had sank in the water around 50 years ago somewhere near Puerto de la Plata. Now he had some basic information about the ship, and that is it was a Spanish ship. He knew that it sank 50 years ago. He knew that the location at which the ship sank was Puerto de la Plata. He also knew that the ship had a huge amount of treasure, massive treasure, and if we could get that treasure, that could lead to happiness of many people. So now this was his target. Next problem came in front of him was that it was difficult for him to go and get the treasure on his own all alone. Therefore, he decided to go and meet King James of London. King James of London. He explained him about the treasure, he told him about the treasure, and when King James got to know about the treasure, he was thrilled to know. He also started to feel that it would be a great idea to get the treasure and add it on to his existing riches. Therefore, he decided to provide him assistance. As part of his assistance, number one, he provided him a vessel called Rose Algier. Also, he provided him with 95 men and 18 guns. Where also, on the other hand, he made him captain of the English ship, captain of the English Navy. And now, by the end of first part, we get to know that Sir William Phipps a poor man's son, became Captain Phipps of the English Navy. Now they started sailing. They cruised for around 2 years in West Indies, but unfortunately they were completely unable to get the treasure. They looked here and there, they searched a lot, they spent a lot of time, but unfortunately the expectation of getting the treasure was very low. Gradually, those 95 men who went along with him to get the treasure out of the sea started feeling that maybe there is no treasure, or maybe there is no point searching for a treasure that had sank 50 years ago. Therefore, those 95 men started pressurizing him, started forcing him to turn into a pirate. They felt that it would be a great opportunity, it will be a great decision if we would start robbing the ships which are visible now rather than looking for a ship which had sank 50 years ago. Now here William, who was dedicated to be searching for the treasure only, decided to make them understand that we must keep on searching for the treasure. Luckily, after he explained, after he compelled them, they finally agreed and they decided to be with him, support him for more time. Now, once he saw that those set of people had turned mutinous, those set of people had turned rebellious once, now he started feeling that if these people have such a negative feeling for me once, if they had developed such a negative feeling for me once, then there are chances they might develop such a feeling in later time also. Therefore, he now decided to go back to London. While he decides to go back to London, on the way back, he meets an old Spaniard who tells them that he knew the exact location of the ship. And what did he tell them? He told them that it was on a reef of rocks a few leagues from Puerto de la Plata. Now he got to actually know the location of the treasure. But he had decided to go back to London. Therefore, he went back. When he went back to meet King James of London and informed him about their journey, King James was upset. He was taken aback. He felt that all his money, all his time had got wasted. So now he decided to not provide any more assistance to William. When he took away his hand, some other set of people, that is, the Duke of Albemarle, on the other hand, some noblemen, decided to provide him the assistance. Right? So this time, William went again to search for the treasure, but went with another set of people. When these people went there and they went close to that exact location which he was aware of now, he instructed them that we must construct a boat, a large boat, because it's easier for a boat to go close to the reef of rocks instead of a vessel, instead of a ship. Therefore, he assisted them, he helped all the people to construct a boat. Once the boat was ready, some people went on the boat close to the location, whereas captain was still inside the ship only. When those people went over there, they started looking inside the water, they gazed in the water. Obviously, they couldn't find anything for a while, but somehow an Englishman saw a sea shrub. When he saw that, he started feeling that maybe yes, there is no treasure and that sea shrub can be our treasure. Rather than going back empty-handed, it will be a great decision if we get the sea shrub along with us while going back. So he instructs one of the Indian divers, one of the skillful Indian divers, to dive down in the water and get that sea shrub out of the water, because we are going to consider that sea shrub as our treasure. So the Indian diver dived down inside the water, and after a few minutes when he came out of the water, just imagine what it was. He came out and he told them with a lot of happiness that he had some information about the treasure. He told them that he had heard inside the water that there were some guns, there were some cannons. That was the moment when everybody got to know that they had found the treasure finally. So he immediately instructed all the divers to dive deep down the water and search for the treasure, find out something. So all of them just dived inside the water, and after a while a diver came out. and he came out with a heavy lump of silver. With a heavy lump of silver. That heavy lump of silver was worth more than $2,000. They were very excited. They immediately wanted to go back to the captain who was there on a ship. So they quickly rowed back to meet captain, and immediately captain prepared himself with some rakes, hooks and stuff so as to fish out all the treasure. So when he did so, they found plates, they found tables, they found precious stones, they found a lot of treasure, and it made them really happy. Now after 2-3 days, when they kept on searching, they searched for more treasure, and they found bags full of a lot of money. Initially, those bags didn't appear to be like bags because they were covered with some filth, right? They got those bags out and they started beating the bags with hammer. When they started beating the bags with hammer, after a few minutes, suddenly when those bags broke, there were a lot of coins spread over here and there. And that very moment they realized that they had actually found the treasure. So finally, when they tried to estimate the total worth of the treasure, they found that the treasure was worth $2 million, more than $2 million. They were thrilled and they really wanted to go back quickly and tell the people who actually assisted them. So they went back to London, where they met Duke of Albemarle and those noblemen. They were welcomed with great joy, with great pomp, because they were so excited. They were happy that finally they had won, right? So everybody welcomed them with a great amount of happiness. Maximum part of that treasure was kept by Duke and those noblemen, but some portion of the treasure was given to him. Him as in your Captain Phipps. But that some part of the treasure was enough to give him a beautiful life. Therefore now he went back to USA, he went back to Boston, and now when he went back to Boston, people of Boston welcomed him as rich and famous Sir William Phipps. So how William Phipps, who was born in a poor family and initially during his boyhood had to spend time in doing something he didn't like, turned out to be rich and famous Sir William Phipps. Also, as I told you in between the chapter, that once when he lost everything, he still didn't feel discouraged. He kept on his courage. He promised himself that he would earn everything back, and luckily that's what he did. The promise that he made to himself, he fulfilled the promise and eventually gained all the riches back and went back as rich and famous Sir William Phipps. So I hope now you have understood the story, but still I request you all to quickly reread the chapter so as to get better understanding. Also learn all the word meanings, learn their spellings properly for your examinations. Thank you.